It's working. Okay, so. Okay, so. Welcome to The Critter Within, Kinship and Fairyism with me. So, this panel will basically just be addressing most things that people have said about going through things like kinship, fairyism, how you might feel about being Avu'rii, maybe feeling like a dragon, maybe feeling wolf. It's whatever have you. Essentially, just things that we can feel like. So, I wish I had a better way to advance the slides, but you know. So this is just a little epilepsy warning. This is just a little epilepsy warning for those with epilepsy. Just be careful. There's some animation in these slides that could potentially be hazardous to you. So if you have any forms of epilepsy, just either advance with caution or maybe just skip this one. If you need the panels, if you need to have them in a still image form, just contact me on Discord. My handle is right above my head. You can contact me and I can send you some still image forms of this panel so that you can still feel like you're included, which is awesome. Always like having other birds. So. So this is just reaffirming the following panel is made for the awareness of kinship and fairyism for AvaliCon. Woo! Yes, AvaliCon! Yippee! The topics ahead can cause distress to some individuals that can, because of some of the topics, so just a bit of an advisory warning, just to those who might be sensitive to that. We will be talking about self-identity, some depression things, the idea of reincarnation and disassociation. It won't go into super big depth about these topics because that's not the main focus, but I just thought to put out the warning there just in case those of you who are sensitive to that at least have the heads up. So yeah, make sure that you're not. I trust the birds in here to behave to the big, bold, scary red text of not to criticize fairy or kin individuals. I'm sure that all of you can behave yourselves. And make sure that you also behave yourself for the presentation, obviously. If you feel uncomfortable or a sense of anxiety during this presentation, you're encouraged to seek a safe space and a trusted person. You are free to leave at any time. I will take no offense. Maybe. Maybe I might be sad. Maybe I might cry later, but I'll be fine. So.
Oh.
Panel, can you advance? Yes. So these little boxes, the big boxes basically just tell you, hey, this is an interesting little bit of information. There's not many of them, but they're there. So, yeah, leave that up there for a second so that you can read that. Okay, awesome. Yeah. So you can read them or you can ignore them. Ultimately, it won't matter, but it might be something relating to you. So pay attention, don't pay attention. I don't care. Do what you want.
Do something real quick. I need to ask someone something.
And this is basically just going over that I am one person. One person worked on this presentation. I didn't really get help during this, so the information listed here may not be 100% accurate to you, and that's okay. I am just trying my best to make sure that people that don't know about it or are new to this have at least some understanding of what they might go through or what is up for them next. So just keep that in mind. I may not be entirely accurate, I don't claim to be, but I am doing my best to make sure that everyone gets their voice heard. And I'm sure that's fair enough. So.
Snibbles. Naughty.
So, yes. We want to thank you. I think I speak for all the AvaliCon staff when we say thank you for attending this event. This has been a long time in the works for a lot of us, for the whole team basically, to get all these events set up, make sure that you're having a great time. Sorry, I dropped the microphone now, I didn't notice. We just want to make sure that everyone knows that the AvaliCon team is very grateful. We put a lot of time into this, making sure that all of you can enjoy yourselves in these events, and we want to thank you. I want to thank you personally for coming to the panel. This does mean quite a lot to me. So, with that being said, I think we can get started. So, Chapter 1, what is a Therian or a kin? How did it get over there? How did that happen? Also, sorry for the slow switching of panels. I am extremely laggy right now. I'm doing my best with my very crappy computer. So, Therianism and kinship as a concept. It can seem confusing to people on the surface, especially not to those that may not be familiar with the concept. But essentially, it's a simple subject when you boil it down. So, there are differences between what is a Therian and what is kinship. Most people won't feel this way. I acknowledge that later on, but we'll get to that. So, some people may feel like a feeling of both because the concepts are not rigid. I address that later on as well. People who are AvaliCon can express being Therian, for example, even though we technically align more with other kin. The terminology remains consistent regardless of where you end up looking. The below paragraphs, yada yada yada, it address the common differences between the two, but remember that they are guidelines, they are not set rules. Guideline difference is very important. This is not rules, this is not a way to define how you should act, how you should identify. This is just a guideline for what you should have as basic knowledge. So, a Therian is someone who identifies with a real-world, scientifically proven animal that resides on Earth. They believe in a concept known as Therianthropy. Therians are aware of their human state and physical restriction, but show more comfort in being something other than human. Being a Therian does not immediately mean that someone is a furry, but it is often intertwined, as quite a fair few of Therians are furries. But, yeah, often intertwined. Therians may also believe in having a past life with their identified species. This also applies to other kin as well, I forgot to mention. Depending on how strong their connection is, and if they do have memories of a past life. That doesn't apply to everyone. Not everyone will have memories of a past life, and that is perfectly fine. But a lot of people do. That will be addressed somewhat later on, where I can speak on it in a somewhat proper way. So, kinship, which is what we are. We're AvaliCon. Hello. We believe in something that is not yet scientifically proven, but potentially. Example, Avali, Pokemon, elves, dragons, etc. This does not mean that kinship is automatically false due to a lack of evidence. Many kin have memories of previous lives, there you go, that can be attributed to reincarnation, astral projection, or multiverse theory, which is a whole other thing that I'll talk about in another panel because don't have enough time here to go into it. It's a very, very big topic. Kinships go under the umbrella term of other kin, which is essentially what we use to refer to all types of kinship. But they do go into their own specific categories, which is what this goes on. Several different types of kinship in AvaliCon. This is most often referred to as alien kin, where someone relates to an extraterrestrial being, which is what I assume a majority of us are. We're AvaliCon, so we relate to being extraterrestrial. We're alien. Most people in AvaliCon are alien kin. People who identify as a dragon may call themselves dragonkin, a wolf would be wolfkin, etc. It basically just depends on a case-by-case basis on what you may feel more like. Ultimately, terminology, words, they're all fun, just funny things. We're all just creatures at the end of the day, and I'm sure we can all agree on that. So, next slide. I keep throwing the microphone. I have no idea where it went this time. Oh, there it is. Okay. So, Therians and other kins will seek out support almost immediately after their self-discovery. This has been something that is true for me. Pretty much true for all of those goobers sitting over there, with the exception of Eddie. But it's also remember that it's also important to remember that it doesn't. Wait, where am I? Yes. Okay. Sorry. Wow. Can you tell I've not no public speaking? It's important to remember that while we do have these safe spaces, the world outside of them can be a bit harsh and a bit scary, and unfortunately that is part of being who we are. A lot of people will not understand, but hey, that's what education is for. So, many people will not understand being Farian or other kin is like, and like many other things, it can lead to a feeling of being outcast or alone. For a lot of Farians and for a lot of kins, this can be the case where they often feel like they don't have people that they can depend on because there's often not a lot of people that will listen to them, which sucks. Which is why I decided to make this panel, spread awareness for those listening on the YouTube platform. This is more intended for you to be able to go out and also talk to your friends about it as well. So, it's also important to remember that it doesn't need to feel this way. Creating a safe space for yourself and others is important. It's good to find communities that you can be involved with. This is not something to be ashamed of or feel like you need to self-isolate for. Plenty of communities exist for Farian and kin individuals to find and reside in, such as AvaliCon. Try to also tell people that you trust, as the people around you may be willing to listen and potentially help with your feelings. Now, this is a little grey area for some people, I know, because there's some people that you trust that may be a little hard to kind of admit this kind of thing to. I don't have a ton of advice for that kind of thing, but what I can say is make sure that you're telling the kind of people that you trust the most, who you feel like would understand. And if you're worried that they may not understand, it might sometimes be best to try anyway. At least just have one form of support. That is very important to people like us in order to have our feelings validated by those who support us and love us and surround us. Very important thing to have. So. Okay, so. These two emblems are the most known when it comes to Farianism and other I've done it again. So, these two emblems are the most important and used by a lot of other kin and Farian individuals. There you go, there's the Theta Delta! A lot of people resonate with this. And then there's the Elven Star, which is used more for other kin communities. So, being able to understand what they mean will help you be able to find the correct support communities for you to know where you can go, the people that you can talk to. And the people where you can, the places where you feel like you can belong. It will help you get along in the process of becoming a Farian or a kin if you are not already. Where is so valid though? Where is so valid? So valid. So, what symbol you use is up to personal interpretation. Both symbols may appear to be rigid, as well as the whole thing I talked about in the last slide, but ultimately, it doesn't matter. People can become confused with what they mean, but what you should know is that ultimately, they're both universal. There may be some people that are just like, oh, well, one means one or the other, you should use this specific one or that specific one, but ultimately, it doesn't matter. You can use one or the other. And most people know the Theta Delta more than anything else. A lot of people here, pretty much a lot of people that I can point to in the crowd, will have the Theta Delta symbol in their bio, their name tags, whatever else, which will help you understand who is and who isn't a Farian.
Wow.
So the most important thing to remember is that your identity is valid regardless of anyone else's opinions. So don't get discouraged because somebody told you that's bad. Don't do that. Don't listen to those people. They're stupid.
Also slightly sick.
it can be difficult to see how you connect with being a kin or a Farian. A lot of people struggle with self-identity in the early days of kinship. Body dysmorphia or dysphoria can be a common effect that is cited by many as a factor in why they feel like they may not relate being human. Some may struggle in the short term, others may have struggled for their whole life with it. I myself am someone who struggled with it for my pretty much my whole life, but only managed to find an answer for it recently. So I'm thankful for that. Finding someone who can relate to you is always helpful. For most here, AvaliCon would be the closest option in terms of support, though other forms of support are available. I can't tell you exactly where to find these. I'm not in a lot of Farian communities, as much as I just made a presentation about Farianism. Wow! So I don't know that many communities, unfortunately, but I'm sure if you go searching, you'll be able to find these types of communities pretty easily. And you may have friends as well who are Farians who can potentially point you in the right places. There are also other Avali communities that I've also heard of that also help with being AvaliCon. So there's plenty of options. It's just about going searching, trying to find out what works for you. So, kinship and Farianism through its development seems to go through what I call stages. These theoretical stages will be covered in the next slides. If you do not feel like these fit you, that is okay. Just describe yourself how you feel. Essentially saying that even though that the things that I have put down for the next slide may not apply to you, but from what I can tell from the few people that I managed to contact about this, they've said it's fairly accurate. But obviously, like I said, it doesn't apply to everyone. Some people may express memories or a longing for home. Examples will be used later as well. Well, we use an example now, so too bad. So, people may express memories of and a longing for home. I know a lot of people who do. My pack mates over there certainly know that feeling. A lot of us will have the feeling of wanting to go home, being close to home, anything that reminds us of where our natural habitat is supposed to be. Some of us will also, like I said, have memories as well, where we feel like we have lived currently, or are currently living on Avalon. For a lot of people, these can sound like impossibilities. For a lot of people, these can kind of be difficult to imagine what it's like. But the thing that I urge you to do is just remember that everyone is valid. Everyone has their own way of going through this kind of thing. And you ultimately can't know whether you won't know if sometimes the memories that you feel might be 100% accurate, or what another person's memories might be 100% accurate. But that is the fun of what we're in for. It's ultimately all trying to make ourselves feel more comfortable and feeling like we are all in tune with ourselves. So, the stages, there it is. Stages of Farianism and kinship. So number 1 would be unusual sensations. Most of these are written through my kind of stages as well. This is the kind of order that I went into. Like I said, a lot of people will also relate to this, I feel like. At least I hope so. I hope. So, stage 1 often begins when the person in question starts to feel uncomfortable about something, about themselves. It could be minor. Maybe something feels off with their body or their face that they don't like. They don't initially think much of it and try to remedy the problem on its own without much thought to it. The reverse can be true as well. That is something that I have been told. People may not feel dysphoria, but instead have maybe worn some cat ears, maybe someone's worn a tail, and they went, oh, that's super nice, I want to do that again. Oh, look at that, that's my tail, I like that. So they may choose to explore that and try and see what all that feeling is about, and that often leads on to community seeking. Oftentimes, those with the aforementioned dysphoria or feelings of curiosity will try to seek out people to understand how they feel, or quietly slip into communities that may specialize in the subject. For me, this was joining Avali-related worlds and feeling more interested in Avali lore. Yes, when I started to feel when I started to feel more like I was an Avali, I went and explored more Avali worlds, more Avali lore, more Avali avatars. Shout out Web, because your world was the first one I ever entered relating to this. Big props to you. Still love that apartment world.
I'll nibble you.
So. Yippee!
Yes, I'm coming
so-
for it.
Oh my gosh.
Get the belt.
I'm running at like 5 frames per second, so I just wanna reiterate. I was running at 5 frames per second there, so when Web came down here and started nibbling on me, it was just suddenly Web in my face. There was no in between. So,
We measure in nibbles per second now.
oh god,
So fucking
it feels like
glad
I'm in
I
a
came.
slideshow. Okay, so, stage 3, dysmorphia, if applicable. This doesn't apply to everyone. So, this may happen months or years afterwards, but the feeling of dysmorphia likely becomes more powerful in onset, and people often disassociate with their body. It is a very unfortunate thing that a lot of people go through at first and often don't have answers for. I imagine a few of you might know that feeling fairly well. Oftentimes a period of sona switching can occur where people can't settle on what to best represent themselves as. They may try to research more resources and start to get exposed to Pharaonism and kinship. I actually identified as a shapeshifter before AvaliCon. Yeah, I used to be like, oh, I'm so edgy. I like switching to be a wolf or a dragon or whatever have you. So I used to switch my forms a lot because I couldn't really decide what to be. I was basically trying to be everything at once. God, I was such a special little child, wasn't I? So, stage 4, realization. Comes when the person in question realizes their species identity. This can either be through their memories, exploring themselves, or even just having an idle discussion. I've actually seen it happen. I don't remember who it was, but I've seen someone go, oh my god, am I an Avali, through just talking to someone, which is amazing. I'm pretty sure that it might have been Dashy, actually. People can also feel body positive, just being in a body that feels more right rather than being dysphoric.
Oh, right. What? Oh, no, the other Dashi.
No, we're not speaking about the same one. We're talking about that one right there, that good bird there. That one's a good one. That one's good bird. That one's good bird, not bad bird. Anyway, moving on. Realization comes when the person in question realizes their species identity. This can either be through memories, Wait, no, I've just went over this. What am I doing? People can also feel body positive, just being in a body that feels more right rather than being dysphoric. For me, this was going into an avatar world and wearing high-use Spirit Valley, which unlocked the feeling of longing and quelled my dysphoria. I could gush about the Spirit Valley for ages, but I'm not going to do that. So, stage 5, comfort. Upon finding themselves, Farians and kin start to feel more comfortable with species identity, seek others that can guide them through it, and begin to settle into it. This is usually the stage where people start seeking out packs and start going into more interacting with the community. This was pretty much at the stage that I started getting myself involved with AvaliCon. Speaking of which, sorry for being gone for like 2 or 3 months. Let me take a drink of water real quick. I am dry throat. Watch the funny pink space bird on the stage get completely lost trying to find a water bottle.
What do you mean pink?
All this technology.
Hydration
and we
check.
can't even find a
I'm
water
getting
bottle.
increasingly confused about myself.
I
right
can't
now.
believe it. I can't believe it. I'm in one
Same.
of the most advanced races ever known, and I don't have an automatic water dispenser. This is criminal. Absolutely criminal. So we're moving on.
Water dispenser, are you a rabbit?
Yeah, I might be.
Our filtered water tap.
I'm extremely confused because I'm realizing I have some of these qualities, but I don't feel dysphoria.
Yeah.
That can often be something too. Thank you for bringing that up. A lot of people will also feel this way, but not necessarily feel Therian. It's a very interesting thing. The only thing that I could possibly say about this is to do some, I guess, soul searching. Sit down with yourself and try and search through it, see what it means. I wish I had
feel
better
like I
advice
just
other
like
than that.
Avali over anything else. I don't really feel.
That is
like
such
I'm...
a mood. Do not worry. There's a lot of people like you that feel that exact way. So, yes, this little box here is just saying this is theoretical and does not represent all Therians and kins. You or your friends may feel something different or less on point. And like we've just discussed there, it may not apply to you. You may not even be Therian or kin at all. It all just depends on how you feel. If you feel some of these but don't feel like you kin, fine.
Okay.
Someone's getting mauled, do you hear that? I can't believe it. Someone getting mauled during my presentation.
Yes, it's you. Oh, do it again.
Salvation is mauling his
Love is a menace to us all.
You cannot escape the
I'm
web.
being invited over the boat. Located.
Web, I will get you back one of these days. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I'll get you back. Identifying yourself. This is where we have the segment where we start showing off people's what?
Just nibbling. But please no.
What? I thought someone said something. Okay, so this is the section where we take experience from others. So this whole segment is dedicated to people who have gone through this kind of thing before and wanted to share their experiences with other people, maybe help you find a bit more about yourself. There's a fall-in sliding across the floor. But essentially, it's just to help you maybe feel like you have some understanding with someone else who may have gone through the same thing as you might be feeling you're going through now. It can also help you potentially find some answers for some problems that you didn't know you had. Well, that's a bit heavy saying problems, but you know what I mean. I hate English. This is from Avu'rii, that bird right there. I'm sure most people here know Avu'rii. They're a good bird. I have been Therian for most of this life. I have never really felt myself in this human body, and as I got older, that feeling only got stronger. It was VR chat that reinforced the feeling of being Therian. Being able to represent myself as anything but human was nice, and it was shortly after putting on the Navali model for the first time when it clicked. When I knew that this is what I was meant to be, or what I always have been. I just hadn't realized it yet. When I see myself as Avali, I just feel right. Seeing the silhouette of my Avali form in my shadow while flying around brings a sense of euphoria like nothing else ever has. I am Avali, this is what I'm meant to be. And I have to say, this isn't me biased as a packmate or anything. That is a goddamn beautiful message. That is one of the best ones we have in here. Genuinely, absolutely amazing message, and I could not relate to this more. And there's some beautiful pictures that Avu'rii wanted to share with all of you. Perhaps something that you relate with. Those beautiful rings up there, absolutely gorgeous. So, next one. So, who's that handsome bird? I can't put my finger on who that is. So, this is me, sharing my pictures. This is my pictures that I'm sharing. So, it is hard. It will always be hard. I had to go through a lot to finally get in a place where I felt comfortable with my body. Surrounding yourself with people that matter to you and can hear you out is the most important thing to anyone. I struggled to feel like I fit in first around the AvaliCon and spaces like it, but I realized I didn't need to have a bunch of groups in order to be comfortable in what I am. I learned that who I am should be my decision and my decision alone. With the reassurance of the people that matter to me, this became the only truth I needed to overcome my feelings of doubt. I feel happy that I can get to share my experiences and be a figure for those who need guidance through the same thing that I went through. Whether it was me starting out in web servers, Avalon apartment, there you are, or heading to Flight World, I always... Oh boy, here we go again. Prepare myself! So,
That was muted. Okay, well.
or heading to Flight World, I always felt like there was some connection to my vague memories. And after all this time, I guess it is true, I like being a teacher at heart. And one that adores who they ended up becoming. Glory to the Illuminate, and to all of you, this is one hell of an adventure. And then there's my pictures, including me being a goober up there. Don't need to talk about it more.
Bird.
Burp.
Nibble 'em.
Goober alert.
For the goober.
Jar. Big goober.
It's just so
That's
raising
that one
questions
right
for
there,
myself,
that
so-
bird right there, this is theirs. I've always had a connection to Avu'rii since I've heard of them. They always held a soft spot for me. When I got my new PC built and decided to try out VRC for the first time, I decided to use an Avu'rii avatar. When I put it on, it felt right in a much more impactful way. From then, my feelings for Avu'rii grew and grew. My uncomfort with my humanity pushed my Avalikin Ferian side even further. The things I've heard of Avalon sounds exactly like a society that I would fit into. I was always an everyone first kind of person, that is to say, putting others before myself. There is even more drive to want to go to Avalon due to my opinions of the state of humanity at this moment, as my feelings for Ferianism only grew more legitimate. And there you go. There's some lovely pictures of Dashi there.
That's a very nice message.
You're there for a reason.
I do feel like that.
Everyone's favorite plant fox! So, there are several things I've always felt an explicit connection to, far more than I feel a connection to humanity. It is not something easily explainable, and I don't think I could quantify it in a precise way. The only reality we are capable of existing in is one that is made of our own perception. Identity is self-imposed and constructed, so I ask, why would I construct anything other than what I truly feel connection to? If I get to pick who I am, why wouldn't I pick the thing that makes me feel the most whole? And I think that's a very nice message. And look at that goober up there. Absolute boopable.
Goober.
So,
Grass creature. Oh, my hands.
good to hear. I think that's,
Wall.
yeah, you over there. That's
Yeah.
good. Yeah. It was a journey for me. It started with odd pulls, experiences, and inexplicable feelings in my bones that got stronger over time. I reached out for people like me, things started clicking. I was overwhelmed, but eventually things got smoother as I accepted myself. What helped was reaching out to others, taking things slow, self-care, and viewing my human self as just one aspect of myself, a shell, and not what defines me. And I have to say, another absolutely gorgeous one. I love this message here. Being self-positive, taking care of yourself, taking things slow is exactly the kind of thing that I agree with. That is something that everyone should know, is that not to rush being Farian. You do not need to take in everything at once. You do not need to know everything about yourself at once. It's important to be slow. It's important to care for yourself. That is the top priority. So this is from a friend of mine named Lizzie. They are not in the AvaliCon community, but there are someone that that I asked about this kind of thing. So, for me, it was rooted in a couple of things, mainly being my body dysphoria and persistent hyperfixation on reptiles, admiration of both real and fantasy ones. Being just a human just didn't feel exactly right. Not fulfilling in terms of expressing myself. Even before realizing that, I was unintentionally replicating some reptile behavior, like being hissy and having snake-like urges to coil around things, to hoard and protect what I hold dear. You know, like some sort of oversized fire-breathing lizard. Why, yes, that would be very gentle. So, yeah, I don't know what that means, but it's funny to me. So, yeah, a friend pointed that out and asked me if I was a Farian. Was not educated at that moment until that got explained to me, along with getting read like a book for why I am what I am. Not a bad message at all. I do love this last segment here.
Every time they switch slide, they explode.
Okay, Trace. Is Trace? Yeah, Trace. So,
I'm here, I'm in the corner.
So initially, this little quote that is underneath Trace's name here, cogito ergo sum. Initially, Trace said this as a joke for when I asked the question, what would you put on this panel? But I actually thought it was really good, actually, in a way that probably wasn't intended. Because even just saying, I think, therefore I am, is good enough justification for you to feel the way that you do. Being able to say that feels so right to me personally. To just say, I don't necessarily need a reason to be AvaliCon. I think, therefore I am. So, I spent many years kind of on the outskirts of this furry fandom because I always felt like I needed to really connect with how I chose to represent myself, which I now understand is not the case. But nothing ever really sat right with me until I happened to stumble across Avali one day. I started using an Avali avatar in Resonite/Neos, and it felt pretty good. Eventually, I branched out and started going to Avali Army meetups in VRC. Anybody else from Avali Army? Yeah? I would say a few amount of people. That group really made me realize community because I really enjoyed the way people saw me and treated me, and so many things about it felt right. Eventually one day Web Surfer created the AvaliCon group and I asked about it. It made me start to realize that I was just a Avali. It made me start to realize Web Surfer starting to carry people into this community, huh?
I didn't do shit. I just made a circle.
You totally did something. And there's some nice pictures from Trace of all the different avatars that it ended up using.
That bottom right.
Very beautiful. Thank you, Trace. Yeah, I do. They do feel familiar. Solaz is that word right there, over there.
Shame him.
I just want to take a moment to mention the pictures first because, oh my god, I just want to say this. I wish I took pictures like these before because these are absolutely gorgeous. I mean, look at these two bottom ones. They are phenomenal. Oh my god, they are... I wish... I need you to tell me the world after this. Ever since Avu'rii introduced me to Farianism, I have seen some things in myself that could make me Farian. One thing is that I've been more and more feeling like I'd like to be an Avali. I've been thinking that living as an Avali would arguably be better than being a human, both due to the community and society of the species, but also just because of the creatures themselves. I would love to just be this fluffy raptor, fly around in my home world, snuggle and engage with an actual Avali community. It feels right to me to squeak and chirp and be cute. When I look in the mirror in VR chat, despite me not even have eye tracking, I have less and less been feeling like I see an avatar, but more like that is actually me who I am seeing in that mirror. It reflects who I am, who I want to be, who I want to see myself as. I am Soul as, and this is what I think makes me Therian. This is probably... I wouldn't say my absolute favorite, but it's certainly really up there. I absolutely love the message that, hello? Hi there.
Don't do that.
A fallen has intruded my stage.
It's the second degree. Oh no.
Second of
Oh
all
no.
is Avu'rii.
Both at once.
Nom nom.
Yes.
Bombard this.
Do you see what these birds do to me? It's absolute abuse. I can't believe this.
Wait until Sal gets here.
Oh, what the? What is up here that's killing your frames? Because my frame rate died when I was near you. Oh, I was doing it again.
Jokes.
I have to say.
I know, right? Okay, finally someone knows what it's like. Jesus, something up here is killing my frames. So, this is, the one by, I haven't asked how to pronounce their names, Rain?
Ere.
What? What is Rain? Name.
I think it's Ere.
Yeah,
Ere?
Ere.
2-0.
Yep.
Ere. Okay, so, it's been a so this is from Ere. So, it's been a lifelong feeling and memories I just didn't belong. Eventually, I just found the right people to express it openly. It's just always been there since I was little, so it's always been around in a way. I felt significantly more in tune with dragons than I was trying to find what phantom limbs fit best or feel most right. But eventually, I just made a full 360 back to being a feathered creature. Good on them! Truly based.
Whoa.
I'm willing to accept none of this is real as a possibility, but I find comfort in it, and it does fit my missing puzzle pieces in understanding myself. Now, this right here, I'm willing to accept none of this is real. This is doubt. This is what doubt looks like. Unfortunately, there are people that go through this kind of thing with feeling like they need to doubt themselves with their memories and whatever have you. But this, you don't have to feel like it is real. What it matters is, does it feel real for you? Is your memories and the things that you go through, do they feel real to you? Do they feel like something that is fundamental? Because I was having a discussion with Avu'rii earlier on today about, hey, do you ever get that feeling that when we're sharing these
Explode.
I'm good. Do you ever get those feelings that when you're sharing memories with someone else, you then go on to be like, why did I do that? That doesn't feel real. That feels like bullshit. We had that discussion earlier on, but we reassured ourselves if that was the case, we wouldn't have talked about things that were so personal to us. And that's important to remember. There will be these moments of doubt in your memory, in yourself. This is a very common thing. But it's important to remember you are who you are. Your memories are not false. And the way that you feel about yourself is also not false. At the end of the day, make sure you are only... how to put this? Make sure that... I don't know where I was going with that. Sorry. I'm trying to make this, like, feel true, and I'm getting kind of emotional about it because this is something I also go through. Doubt is very easy to fall into. But it's always good to try to commit yourself otherwise. Helps to also be around people that can tell you otherwise as well. I'm taking questions at the end. if you're putting your hand up for questions. Oh no! I'm so sorry, I forgot to say, that last slide with Ella had some beautiful art on it. I was hoping that you guys saw that, during that. They had absolutely phenomenal artwork. It's beautiful. So, you are not alone. There are so many people out there that might feel exactly how you might be feeling. For those who are not Farian or kin, but just want to understand better, be there for your... be there for your Farian/kin friend if they're going through this. Hear them out, empathize. It is often very hard for Farian/kin to feel like they can reach out due to a lack of support or fear of judgment. Be there and be compassionate. It always helps. Being a Farian or a kin is acceptable, no matter what society tells you. And it is not something you should have to fear, as your identity should ultimately be your own. You have the right to feel comfortable in your own body. Always remember that.
Yeah. It's not dying, I think.
Chapter 3, Beating Dysphoria. This one is gonna be a bit of a hard one because, to be honest with you, I wrote this... Most of this section was actually written in 2 days before the convention because I am very ADHD and... Yeah, so this will not have every solution for you. I'm gonna say that now. It will not have every single piece to fix your dysphoria, but I hope that at least something in here is able to help you in some way. Okay, let's go!
Froze Mike.
Drop
So-
mic.
The hardest part of being a Farian or a kin is arguably the dysphoria. Almost every single Farian or kin I talk to has some type of dysphoria or dysmorphia. It is important to remember that it doesn't affect everyone, but it does affect the majority. First things first is to identify your species. What do you resonate the most with? What can you do to bring yourself closer to your preferred species? This can be a daunting question, one that most may not have an answer for, but that's where the following slides will come in handy. I have spent most of my time looking into helping people with dysphoric people. What? That doesn't make any sense. I spent most of my time looking into helping with dysphoric people and others like myself. Granted, I have not got a solution for everything. This is the thing I just said. It is very hard to have a perfect end-all solution. See these more like guidance and absolute truth. It helps you get started on a path to be able to help yourself and allow others to help to understand how to help you possibly feel more in line with yourself. Wow, I made that a whole mouthful when I could have shortened that down to 2 sentences, couldn't I? So, we move on. So these are kind of more symptomatic. So these are things that I have been told often by kins and Farians. Some of the most common. These are the most common types of things that you can feel when you're going through the different stages that I mentioned earlier on through the panel. Loss. This is one that I personally suffered with myself for the longest time. It took me a very, very long time to get over it, and I only have those 3 over there for helping me to finally be able to quell that, so I love you guys. So, a feeling of not being part of a pack or a combined community often gives depression-like symptoms. This was something that I've felt ever since I was basically a kid, along with my dysmorphia. And once I was able to find my pack, my symptoms eventually started to go away to the point that I managed to get off of my medication. The medication that I was on for about 3 or 4 years. I don't take it anymore, thanks to these goobers. So, feeling of missing limbs. Feeling like parts of your body is missing, like fur, feathers, talons, wings, tails, etc. I'm sure a lot of you can very much relate to that. I know I do. I often... Web's doing their things again. So, I often have those feelings of...
Saying goodbye.
Oh,
Sorry to interrupt.
okay. I've seen like 2 people leave, one over there, one over there. I know how it is. You don't like my presentation. Fine, I'll go. I'm kidding. So, feeling like parts of your body is missing, like fur, feathers, talons, there. So, this is something that is very common. A lot of people have said this to me as well. The feeling of missing limbs can be very hurtful. Actually, it can be mentally painful, and to some people, it's even physically painful, which is very interesting to me. I haven't looked into that subject in its entirety, but God, I feel this all of the time myself. Just the idea of missing my wings, my ears, is just, it's awful. It can feel awful, and thankfully there is somewhat of a solution for that. Era actually has a solution for that, but I'll talk about that later. Disjointed memory. This is uncommon. Maybe that might be too light of a word. But some Therian or kin will report memories of a past life they may have felt like they have lived. Surprisingly have had a lot of that, including myself. Seems to be a very interesting thing that seems to be, from what I've seen, fairly common in the AvaliCon, I'd like to say. I've not seen any other Therian communities, so I can't speak on that. Disassociation. Some report not feeling like themselves in most situations and often feel somewhat detached. It can feel like they are not comfortable with themselves as an entity. To an extremely rare degree, some may feel like they are carrying souls of former packmates. Now, this is something that I have recently had experience with as well. Once again, I bring up Avu'rii. We have had to have a very, I guess, confusing conversation about feeling like there's a possibility that some people may feel like they have the aura or having the feeling that you have other packmates with you, whether spiritually or as headmates, which goes into the whole plurality thing, which is Cress's area. That's not for me to know. They can explain it better. Yes?
Your wings. Wait. Yes, there we go. We fixed it. You would have to rejoin, but the laptop works again. I fixed the laptop.
Oh, good job, Fallen! Round of applause for Fallen! Active on the ball!
Yeah.
Well done! So, homesickness. This is extremely common. Very common. Some may feel like they don't belong in human living conditions and resonate better amongst a place better suited for their preferred species. This is almost always a co-state with disassociation or disjointed memories. That is to say that if you have disjointed memories or disassociation, you most likely have homesickness as well. Need for care. Lots of Therian or kin seek out reaffirmation of their species or help identifying it. It's important to remember that this is not attention seeking, but a request for validation. And then dysphoria and dysmorphia, we've covered mostly. Much like mentioned in previous slides, many Therians will not feel at home in their own body. This can result in them having unsatisfactory opinions about their body. I think that's good for the most part. Fallen, how are we doing for time, real quick?
Like you have 15 minutes to keep yapping if you want to sort of.
Oh my god, okay. Oh god, I didn't expect for it to last that long. Okay, we're gonna do a blitz round. Clearly I should have left more time in this for being able to answer questions, so I'll make this presentation shorter for the next time. So, this is what you can do to help your friends. You can understand them, support them, protect their choice, and educate yourself. Being able to understand them and their position, support them with feeling like the species, defending them against criticism of being Therian, which is unfortunately something that we have to do often, and then educating yourself. If you, this is most common for those who are not already Therian already. Something that you can do is do some research. Surprisingly, a lot of people seem to neglect that. Moving on to next slide. So, examples of what you can do for yourself. Take it slow. You'll learn best about yourself when you are clear of mind and are able to communicate with yourself. That's something I said about earlier, taking time to make sure that you are of clear mind, communicating with yourself, finding things out. Finding community. Find communities and people that understand and are on the same page as you. People who are in the same boat tend to sail in it. Once again, I talk about AvaliCon. Find what suits you. Finding an avatar or IRL pass, ears, tails, etc. can help you feel more in touch with your inner self. You can make your own. Give it a try. I know Era, that was what I was talking about earlier, actually managed to make their own pair of Avali ears, which actually work, which is very interesting. You can talk to them about that later. Adventure. Why is my picture not there? I am very interested myself. For some reason, the picture for adventure has been nuked. So go to environments that feel like home to you, natural habitation, etc. that helps you feel more like in touch with your species.
I think if you
What was supposed to be there?
see all of them.
It's supposed to be the picture of me staring up into space.
You can see the stars, but
I can see yours.
Yeah.
So this is an example of what not to do. Don't do this. Do not do this. It has the opposite effects. No friend should do this without express permission first. Accuse or mocking them. Unfortunately, something that is very common. Why choose that? Cringe. You're just attention seeking. You know you can't be an animal. Don't do that. People don't do that. Joking at their expense. Imagine thinking you're not human. Do you crap in the woods too? Do you live in a shelter? Unfortunately, another common thing I see. And sexualization, which is something that I personally have to deal with, which I don't like. All of those, I'm not reading them out because they disgust me, but these are actual comments that were said to me before. Speaking for them. You can't call them by that. Actually, you pet them like this. They're supposed to like X. They clearly prefer Y. Please let them speak for themselves. People do not like being spoken for most of the time. So please just let them express themselves. You don't need to white knight for them. It's often something that I see as well, and it's not very nice. Just don't do that.
Oh.
Wow, running at 5 frames per second is amazing, huh? So, the next slide I will take questions. I hope that this presentation has been informative to you. Any questions that are provided may be included in the next presentation I make. I appreciate you taking the time to listen and staying for this panel. Hopefully one day we'll all get the recognition we need and validate on the global scale. But we will start small. Thank you. So, we have very little time. Before we take the Q&As, I just want to let you know, we're going to try and get through this as quickly as possible. So, Fallen, how many minutes do I have?
like 30. I don't know. I want to be back at the vault in like 15 to 20 at the ship.
Okay, so we have 13, I'm gonna say 15 minutes, because I believe Artemis 2 is landing soon. Who's excited for that? Artemis 2 is landing! Oh my god, I am so excited for that. I hope everyone else is. That question there, will the slides be shown elsewhere? Yes, this will be on YouTube, under the AvaliCon YouTube channel. It will be on there, the slides should be on there, as well as if you contact me, you can get still images that were originally made for those with epilepsy. Next question, please. Actually, why don't I just do this? Anybody that has a question and would like to ask it, because I can't see a lot of people's avatars, line up here, down here on the left side, and form a nice line here, and I will get to you when you need. So, just line up if you have a question, I will answer them for you. If nobody else has any questions, then we will move on, and we can go watch Artemis! Bullen, how can I help you?
You're cute.
That means so much.
I cannot believe you. I cannot believe you. Damn.
Can I get a third?
I have been utterly and completely destroyed, and I cannot believe this.
Oh, true.
Damn.
You're not
Oh,
denying.
How could you do this to me?
Australia right now.
It got.
Okay, next up, please.
Whoa. Alrighty.
Hello, dudes here.
Whoa, howdy. Yeah, so I raised my hand at the thing where Avu'rii brought up that self-doubt bit and whatnot. This is less of a question, this is more of something that I found helpful. I used to go through a lot of self-doubt myself and whatnot, and I think what really helped me was someone put it as, if you have that much self-doubt or whatnot, it's going to make things harder for you, and you're not really going to go much of anywhere. Following your intuition is right, even if you might change your mind later on, or whatnot. And I've had times when I've changed my mind about what I think I was and whatnot, and looking back, it got me to where I am now, and the journey was worth it and whatnot, so... Yep. Oh, well, you're cute.
What is with people and having delusions of me being cute today? I don't know what you're saying. So, thank you for that, dudes here.
Yup.
How dare you? Thank you, dudes here. That is a very good point of discussion. That was a very good add-on to that, and I do have to agree with what dudes here said there. I will have to look. So when this goes up on YouTube, I'm gonna have to look at I'm gonna have to hear what you said again and write it down because I'll take notes for my next presentation. Thank you for that.
Oh, yeah, sure, yep.
Hello.
I just have an interesting thing because, well, I don't have much of the dysphoria things, but interestingly, somehow I kinda miss my wings, or as you was talking about Avali ears, I realized that, like, So, and also, even though I'm shifting shapes, but I treat it more like as a fursuit and Avali as home, is still that, like, if someone asks me who am I, why, like, I spend a lot of time being a cat, but somehow Avali feels like home. So, how does that integrate into this whole thing? Because usually I would say that, like, I think it fits, but, like, maybe you have more information about that I can learn about myself. Also, check out the sign.
That is a very excellent point. Thank you for bringing that up. I will say that is an interesting scenario where I'm going to have to just say that it's not up to me, but it's more up to you. Ultimately, being Therian or being kin is all about self-decision. It's all up to you on what you feel and what you identify as. So ultimately, I need to ask you a question, which is, would you more identify as being kin, or would you identify as just being yourself? That is maybe something that you would rather ask yourself. As I said before, do some self-discovery. But in terms of what you feel, it's okay to miss things that, like your wings and your ears. You may feel like you miss them, but you may not say, "Oh, I'd rather have my Avali form over a human form." Actually, Gobi, could I get you a second?
Sure.
Oh, okay.
Fun fact, I actually would. I just
go-
like treated cats, being cat-like as a fursuit. Like, you know, many humans use a fursuit.
Okay, I get you. Okay,
I absolutely
get
love
you.
my
Sorry,
cat form,
short-term
but like
memory.
myself, as I'm an Avali. I love being a cat too, but like that's just something I sometimes wear. But somehow Avali feels like home. That like when I take off everything, I guess I'm an Avali. Human is somehow also is just something I wear, and I'm fine with that.
I get you. Totally fair. I don't have much to say on that, actually. I wish I did, but in terms of everything, honestly, it sounds like you have yourself figured out. And by all metrics, I would say that I don't have anything to offer you, because it seems like you've already pretty much figured it out. You like being a Kappa, but ultimately, I will get to you. Sorry.
I need that.
Yeah, I'd say if you like being a cat, be a cat. If you like being a volley, be in a volley. So chill, so Gucci.
You can be multiple.
Yeah, exactly.
But
There's people that are
somehow
multiple.
it feels like like you know, that feels like more me, and like cat is just like it's also me, but like you know it's something that I become an
I got you.
Yeah.
I would love to talk about this. I would love to talk about this in time that will allow me, but we are on very limited time at the moment. So what is it that you wanted to add on real quickly? I'll just get you.
To him about
okay.
I have no experience with it.
Okay. You would probably find more benefit doing that outside of the room at the moment. Okay. Okay. So I called Gobi over because Gobi has a similar experience. Hi, hello. I wanted to call Gobi over because Gobi actually has some experience with that kind of thing about feeling like they do relate to Avali, but not wanting to replace their form with Avali, if I'm correct? Yes. Alright.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine.
I'll just let Gobi quickly take the mic here.
Thank you. Yeah, just as you said, I've had experiences, I've seen things, I've had memories, and it feels right to look like this. And then I wake up, the experience ends, I get out of here, and that feels right as well. And there's nothing wrong with either. Both are good. Thank you.
You think
Okay. Hello, what would you like to say?
I don't know who that is.
All of Valley are canonically cute. That means including your get wrecked scrub mic drop.
Alright, putting in the books it right, they are canonically not cute.
Hasn't spoken.
This is related to what the others were saying.
Okay, I will avoid my joke and give. I will lay off on my joke and give the phone to you. So.
Okay. So when it comes to Therian and self-identification things, something important to consider is, as has been brought up many times, is its self-identity and things like that. You don't necessarily need to feel dysmorphic or dysphoric to have these forms of identity. It's a similar concept to gender euphoria for trans individuals and what have you, where you can be these ways without requiring the negative aspect backing it sometimes. For a lot of people, that's just a way it shows itself. It like rears its head at first. It's mostly what I wanted to bring up.
A very excellent point, and that is what I was trying to say earlier. I was trying to say that earlier as well, is that you do not have to feel any of the symptoms to feel like that you can identify that way. You don't need to feel every single symptom. You don't need to feel dysmorphic in order to feel other things, which is why, if you saw on the panel that I was showing all the symptoms and that, I said that dysphoria is applicable. I wanted to make sure that it was specified that it is optional. Some people may not feel like that. So that good clear up. I do like your point. Fallen, hello. Would you like to go again?
Yes. Okay. I think this has been touched upon a couple times now, but when it comes to trans people, everyone falls on a different point. I think on the dysphoric to euphoric scale. Like, I know that there are people who experience intense crushing dysphoria, and that's their drive to transition. But also note that there are people like me who are just kind of meh about their gender and then transition because of the euphoric feelings it gives. So I'm pretty sure that applies to Therian Overkin as well. But also, you might be experiencing dysphoria without knowing it because it's been your entire life experience. And so you've kind of internalized the feelings and think that they're normal because you're missing certain outside references that tell you that they're not. Like, for instance, I really don't like the way clothings feel against my body. And so I always avoid clothing that's tight against my skin. And I always thought, oh, that's just me. That's just, I guess, my fashion preference or whatever. No, that's dysphoria. Or like that's a symptom of dysphoria. So that's a thing as well. You could be experiencing dysphoria and not know it.
Is that why I like fucking baggy shirts?
Yes.
God damn it.
So thank you, Folin. That's a good point as well. I want to say, feeling that kind of thing you said earlier, was it about, I think it was something about, before the shirts, but, a lot of ways that people don't feel dysphoric and may not know that they are dysphoric is because this is it's kind of through education, I guess. We all learn from the environment around us, and we can often learn to adapt to feel like, hey, I shouldn't feel these things. I should push them to the back of my head. I should ignore them completely because that's what society expects of me. And that is unfortunately something that a lot of people deal with. It is very unfortunate. It's something that I had to deal with. A fair amount of people know that before I knew what Therianism was, because of the way that I was raised. I was always raised to see the truth. The truth through scientific community. So I will say, in my past, I kind of was a dick because I used to think that Therian people were nuts. I used to think that there was no validity to it, and I ended up doing research on my own, and ended up kind of taking out the brainwashing that I had instilled into me by society, and I ended up finding out that I, in fact, was one of the ones that was Therian. So there's a lot of people that I think that want to say in some way that they are dysphoric, but end up pushing it to the back of your mind because you may feel like, oh, that's not right, that shouldn't be a thing. But I will be with you when I say this. Don't do that. Don't push these feelings to the back of your mind, because it will always bite you in the ass later down the road. Ask me how I know. It ends up becoming a very hard topic for a lot of people, and it can lead later to worse and worse feelings, and I have seen people spiral from it. So please always self-care for yourself when it comes to these things. Try to open your mind. Try to, I guess, figure out if you have some strange feelings that might need to be considered over. Always helps. Always remember that. Would you like to ask a question?
I more had something I wanted to add to all of this.
Okay, sure. Go ahead.
So you heard a few different things. I know this panel is about specifically Therianism and otherkin, and these kind of like feelings of needing to be a different species than you were born. And it's all just part of a greater problem where you're told at some point in your life that you can't be certain things. That, like, certain choices were made for you, or that, like, you know, certain properties of your life you can't change. And it's the same for this, it's the same for being trans, and it's the same for so much other stuff. All of us just live our own experiences. The only eyes we can see the world through are our own. So, if you know that what you want isn't going to hurt anyone else, how can anyone tell you what your experience needs to be? You should always move to better yourself, make yourself happier, and whatever it is that takes for you to do that. If you're not harming people, you should go for it. And anyone who doesn't respect you for it really shouldn't have a place in your life, or they should get better. And you have to decide how much effort you're willing to put in with someone to help them understand that the way you are isn't hurting anyone. If you can't do it, don't. Just stick around people who understand you and try to make sure everyone's as understanding of all of our differences as possible. That's all I wanted to add.
Amen.
Well said. Amen indeed. That is a very good point, and I really like what you brought to the table there. Yeah, honestly. There's so much. Okay, I'm gonna have to be a bit of a sailor's mouth at a minute, but there's so much bullshit that people are willing to tell you that you have to be this way, you have to be that way. Frankly, fuck 'em. Fuck 'em. Be who you want to be. You are your own person, and you deserve to feel the things that you do. If people are giving you grief over what you feel, over what you want to be, then you don't need those people. Always be yourself. Fight to be yourself, because the only person that can recognize who they truly are is you. That should be all that matters to you when it comes to this. So, do we have any other questions at the moment? Anybody else wanting to come along here?
I'd hold it here because Artemis is about to land. It's already entered that.
Right. Okay, so, everyone, I would like to thank you. What? Where did... God damn it, I do this every time. So, everyone, thank you so much from like the bottom of my heart. I sincerely mean this. Thank you, all of you. Between you being able to attend this panel, and a big massive thank you for the AvaliCon staff for being able to give me this opportunity. And finally, another big thank you to pretty much just the entirety of AvaliCon. I wouldn't have been able to find my home here without pretty much a lot of people in this room. I have been able to find who I am. I have been able to find where I belong, thanks to the people like all of you. And so, with that being said, shall we all go watch probably the best fucking rocket landing we've had in 60 years?
Yeah.
Let's go do it, people! Thank you for coming, thank you all! Thank you all!
That's what it's all about. Yay.
Adorable.
Oh my god.
Very nice.